D-Lo 404 Boxing. Shout out to Marlo's Corner, Trey X, and the whole block fam. Shout out to the LDBC. So, real quick, I just want to talk about Bud Crawford once again. As rumors start to circulate that he could potentially be fighting Josecito Lopez next, fight that I totally am not in favor of. The suggestions come out of the woodwork of people he should be fighting. Two names that came up that I totally disagree with. One being Jaron Ennis. I'm not going to delve into that too deep. I've already talked about it on another video. Ennis is a prospect, has not fought a C-level or at the minimum a B-level fighter in my opinion. Has no business in the ring with a guy like Bud Crawford. And I think Bud would get absolutely no respect for being Jaron Ennis. And as high as I am on Ennis, I wouldn't give Bud any respect for taking a fight with Ennis. That said, the next guy that was mentioned was Alexander Besputin, who is the WBA regular champion, if I'm not mistaken. And we know how that came about. Pacquiao was the WBA regular champion, and he moved up and beat Thurman, who was the WBA super champion. And Besputin ended up being the regular champion. That said, I don't respect those regular belts to start with, so I'm not going to put a lot of weight in that. But even if you just look at guys of noteworthiness that are on their records, you could go with Juan Carlos Abreu and say that, you know, he's a notable name that Besputin beat. But then the name that really jumps out to me as the most notable name would be British Prescott. And we know British Prescott his name rose to prominence because he annihilated Amir Khan in one round. That said, Prescott would be a common opponent between Bud and Besputin. Bud Crawford beat Prescott back in 2013 via unanimous decision as a late replacement. Crawford came in the 11th hour to save the event and dominated Prescott. Besputin fought Prescott back in 2017 to a unanimous decision win. But you're talking about a guy that was 4 years older, and 4 years removed from that loss to Bud. And that's his best win. I don't like to use terms such as don't deserve. I'm not going to say Besputin doesn't deserve this fight. If Bud wants to fight him, then he's well within his right to fight him. I mean, he's up there as one of the top welterweights in terms of he holds some sort of a title. But that said, I don't think highly of the guy whatsoever. I know there's talk of him potentially fighting some of the other big name guys in the division as well. But for a guy like Bud Crawford, who is being criticized for his lack of opposition at 147 pounds, Besputin's not going to do it. So for those who want to criticize Bud for not fighting certain guys and saying this, that, and other, I mean, throwing a name out there like Besputin or throwing a prospect out there as a potential opponent for Bud, that just kills your argument. Yes, I'm in the agreement that the guys that Bud needs to be fighting at 147 are pretty much all in that PBC stable, and I feel like those fights can be made. And those guys are Errol Spence Jr., who Errol Spence Jr. being the guy who said that Bud's time's coming, but just not right now, understandably so. Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, even Mikey Garcia, Ugas, Keith Thurman, and even Sergey Lipinets to an extent. All of those guys are pretty much on that PBC side. But that said, like I just said, Bud could get those fights made. He just has to push for them. Top Rank has to want to make those fights. PBC has to want to make those fights. But as far as those fights not being made strictly on those grounds, I'm never for that, and I've never subscribed to that type talk. But I'm going to end in saying, I don't want to see Bud Crawford fighting a prospect in Jaron Ennis. It has nothing to do with it. I was accused today in a live stream of trying to protect Bud. It has nothing to do with trying to protect Bud. If anything, I'm trying to protect Jared Ennis's growth Jaron Ennis' growth. Boots could be ruined as a fighter if he steps up and fights a guy like Bud, Errol Spence Jr., even a Danny Garcia too prematurely. I'm not saying that he can't win those fights. I'm just saying the next step in his progression should be fighting a guy like maybe a Josecito Lopez type guy. You know, maybe someone like that would be the next step in his progression before he goes on to fight guys of the higher ilk. So, in that being said, that's also why I don't want to see Bud Crawford fighting Josecito Lopez. I think he's already past that. I think the guy Bud just beat in Mean Machine probably beats Josecito Lopez. But that's all I'm going to say on that subject. D-Lo 404 Boxing. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. I'm out. Peace.